Greetings YouTube, Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back to another episode of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. This is episode number 116, and this is the finale. We're going to be taking on Area 10 of Mount Battle, and this is going to be a long episode. We're going to be just going out with a bang here for sure. If you're a Pokemon fan, you are in for some good battles. And yeah, this is not going to be easy, but I am definitely ready to do this. I have all my Pokemon at level 65, and I'm ready to go. Let's do this. Are you happy when it rains? Of course I am. Researcher Nguyen is our opponent, and he's going to be starting off this battle with Lantern and Huntail, two Water-type Pokemon. Lantern is also part Electric type. We're going to start off with Zaprong and Crobat. And Zaprong is, I'm hoping, a good choice because he's going to be using Rain, and he has all Water-type Pokemon. So Thunder should take out most of his team. Lantern, however, does have the Volt Absorb ability, so he can't be hit by Electric-type attacks. So I'm going to go and stick with Poison Fang on this one. Alright, we'll go for a Thunder, and that misses on Huntail. And Lantern and Huntail are probably both going to go for the Rain Dance there, I'm assuming. Yes, that's what these weather condition teams usually do. The AI is kind of stupid in that sense because they waste an attack, but even if you knock out one of their Pokemon, they can still get the weather condition that they want on the field. So this guy has 6 Pokemon, and this is a tough team, and this is going to be an especially tough team for me because my team does not fare very well in the rain. Of course, I have Vaporeon and I have Zaprong, who do well in the rain, but the rest of my team really doesn't, because against electric type, against water type Pokemon, my team is just not very well equipped for it. Thunder obviously knocks out Huntail there in one hit with a critical hit, which is nice, but I fear that I'm going to be in trouble coming up here. Anyway, what I was saying, I've got Aggron and Ninetales, which are both weak against water moves. Most water-type Pokemon also know Ice Beam, so I've got Crobat and Flygon. They're both going to go down to that as well. So that's all that leaves me with is Zaprong and Vaporeon to ward off all these water-type Pokemon. Vaporeon doesn't have any moves other than Bite that even inflict neutral damage on water types. So that leaves me with just Zaprong, and Zaprong is about to get killed right here, I think, as Gorbis goes for an Ice Beam. Yep, Zaprong's out, so all he knocked out was Huntail, which is probably the least offensive of all the Pokemon on this guy's team. So I'm in trouble, and I would not be surprised if all of my Pokemon end up getting knocked out, except for maybe 1 or 2 in this battle. I'm going to go for Ninetales because I know Ninetales will get knocked out very quickly. Lantern goes for a Thunder. Thankfully not on Crobat. Goes for it on Ninetales. I don't get paralyzed, which means I might get an attack off. We'll see. A lot of these Pokemon also have the Swift Swim ability, so they're going to be twice as fast as they normally would be when it's raining. Crobat's going to go for a Giga Drain here, which will be super effective on Lantern, and that's going to knock him out and prevent him from going for another Thunder, because I had a feeling that the second one was going to go for Crobat, so might as well protect Crobat since he has Giga Drain, and that's the only other super effective move I would have on water types for now. I'm going to go for a Sunny Day here and try to lessen the damage from all these Hydro Pumps that were being powered up by the rain. They still go for a Hydro Pump with Gorbis, and even in the rain, or not in the rain, even without the rain and it being sunny out, Gorbis still knocks out Ninetales in one hit. I know Ninetales had already been hit by a Thunder, but still, I was hoping he would be able to tank that maybe. Not the case. We'll send out Aggron next, who again is going to most likely get knocked out very quickly. All it's going to take is one Hydro Pump and he'll go bye-bye because he has almost no special defense. So we're going to go for an Aerial Ace with Crobat here. And it's going to be super effective on Ludicolo because he is part Grass type, and he gets him down into the red zone, but it doesn't knock him out. Opens the door for an Ice Beam on Crobat, and it takes away just about half of his HP. It takes away exactly 100, actually. Aggron's going to go for a Rock Tomb on Gorbis, and that'll lower its speed a little bit because I'm predicting a Rain Dance here which will amp its speed up again, and that's indeed what he goes for. So maybe that Swift Swim won't be fast enough to outspeed some of my other Pokemon on my team, but we'll see. We'll try another Rock Tomb, see if he survives. Maybe I'll get lucky, and maybe Hydro Pump will miss. We're going to get rid of Ludicolo right off the bat here, because Ludicolo's Hydro Pump is deadly. Deadly. Well, I suppose all of his Pokemon's Hydro Pump are, but he was already in the red zone, so I figured why not. And the replacement for Ludicolo is Kingdra. Yes, this thing is crazy good. In fact, it only has one weakness, and it's Dragon type. And it is part Dragon type as well, in addition to its Water type. So that means that it can basically take out whatever is super effective on it, if that makes any sense. So if you bring out a Dragon type Pokemon, most Kingdras have Dragon Breath and Ice Beam, both of which are going to be super effective on the Dragon type. So my best advice is to bring something like a Sceptile that knows Dragon Claw. Of course, Kingdra can still go for Ice Beam, but at least Ice Beam is not a stab attack, and you might be able to get at least one hit off on it that'll be super effective. Ice Beam from Kingdra finishes off Crobat, so I'm down to just Vaporeon and Flygon against the entire rest of this team, and I think he has 3 Pokemon left. Let's see. We'll go with a Bite on Vaporeon, or with Vaporeon on Gorbis, that is. He wasn't biting himself. That would be kind of stupid. And we get the flinch condition there. See, that's why I kept Bite. I always get flinches in the right time. I don't know why. Nothing else that is based off of chance or luck goes my way, but for some reason, Bite just always does. Kingdra's going to go first because of the rain. It has a Swift Swim ability, and Ice Beam is going to take out Flygon before he gets the chance to do anything. I was hoping to get a Dragon Breath off, maybe do a lot of damage to that Kingdra right off the bat, but that's just not going to happen. Bite is going to finish off Gorbis, and now it's going to be 2-on-1. And the odds are very much so against me here, especially because Newen's last Pokemon is Milotic. So now we have 3 Water-type Pokemon facing off here. And crap, both of these Pokemon are level 66. Kingdra's going to go for a Dragon Breath. I might get paralyzed here. This is not... I might lose this first battle. Holy crap. Okay, Dragon Breath, no paralysis, which is good. We're going to go for an Ice Beam on Kingdra because that is going to inflict neutral damage. And it doesn't quite inflict half of his HP worth of damage, which I was hoping it would so he could kill it in 2 hits, but not the case. Ice Beam from Milotic is not very effective. And that drops Vaporeon below its 200 HP mark. I'm hoping with Vaporeon's massive HP stat that we might be able to just withstand this. And thank goodness, Kingdra's going to go for a Rain Dance there and not attack me with another Dragon Breath, which I don't understand. You had the opportunity. You're not taking it. Alright, Ice Beam is going to take Kingdra down into the low yellow, and then they're going to both go for a Rain Dance. I don't know why they do that. So Milotic wasted its turn as well. Ice Beam from Kingdra on the next turn, which is stupid. You should have gone for Dragon Breath. Why? Are you trying to lose this? This is actually becoming somewhat of a fight here now. Alright, so Ice Beam doesn't freeze Vaporeon. He gets him down to 167 HP, and Ice Beam's going to take out Kingdra. Okay, so we're down to 1-on-1 now, and Vaporeon is going to get hit by another Ice Beam from Milotic. And thankfully, Milotic doesn't have anything that's going to be inflicting neutral damage or super effective damage on Vaporeon. So as long as I don't get frozen by Ice Beam, I've got a chance here. So I'm just going to have to bite the crap out of this thing. The bad part is, look how much Bite does. Almost nothing. Milotic is best known for its crazy high special defense. And it can just tank pretty much anything. Critical hit on the Ice Beam there. I'm down to 87 HP. Oh boy, this is getting ugly. Oh my goodness. Alright, still raining, but it doesn't want to use Water-type moves, and understandably so. If it gets stuck using Hydro Pump, it's going to restore almost all of my HP because Vaporeon has the Water Absorb ability, so it can't be hit by Water-type attacks. Another Ice Beam, down to 59 HP now. Oh boy. And the rain is still falling, of course, but that's pretty much irrelevant at this point. And I'm just going to have to stick with Bite, because Hydro Pump and Ice Beam are both going to be not very effective. I don't want to count on my luck to get a freezing condition. That won't happen. I can't even get a flinch condition on this Milotic. Down to 30 HP with that Ice Beam. And the rain has stopped. And this is bad because I'm down to 30 and Milotic... Oh, I get a critical hit! And it breaks Milotic down into the red zone. So if I survive... Oh my god, and he went for Rain Dance. He went for Rain Dance and didn't go for another Ice Beam, which may have killed me. Okay, this might turn out the way I need it to. Fight. No! Brings Milotic down to like 5 HP. Oh my, this is a nail biter. Holy crap. Ice Beam, if Vaporeon survives this... He survives it with 5 HP! Are you kidding me? Holy crap. Okay, so this battle is in the bag now because Vaporeon just tanked like you cannot believe. And it went from a full HP Kingdra and Milotic versus Vaporeon, like a handicap match of sorts. And Vaporeon barely comes out on top. And that's going to be the end of this battle. That was incredible. What a way to start off this area. I have to admit, I don't like rain very much at all. I bet you hate rain now because, I mean, if you just stopped using Rain Dance with both of your Pokemon when it was completely unnecessary, you would have knocked out Vaporeon like 2 turns earlier. And, I mean, obviously I also got lucky with that critical hit at the right time. But still, my goodness. Okay, we'll switch Aggron to the front for the next battle. We have Vaporeon and Aggron starting the next one. It was quite admirable for you to come so far, but I'm afraid your journey will end in disappointment in a raging sandstorm. So instead of the rain dances that we saw in the last battle, fun old man Robin is going to be using sandstorms. And he's going to start off with Sandslash and Tyranitar. And that's a strategic first Pokemon because Tyranitar has the Sandstream ability, so that's going to create a sandstorm immediately. And thankfully, Aggron is going to be immune to the effects of Sandstorm. Vaporeon is not, but Vaporeon is the one that has the type advantage that I want here. I'm going to go for an Iron Tail on Tyranitar because he's a Rock type, but he went for a Protect, so that didn't do anything. And I'm going to go for a Rain Dance with Vaporeon to immediately change the weather. And at least force them to waste another turn going for another Sandstorm. That's why he used Protect. Sandslash goes for Earthquake. And that really doesn't do a whole lot of damage to Vaporeon at all, despite being a stab move. And Aggron tanks that with 1 HP. Oh, God, what the hell is going on today? This is amazing. Okay, we're going to go for a Hydro Pump with Vaporeon. And, that misses, so Sandslash lives to see another turn. Iron Tail with Aggron on Tyranitar, and we get a critical hit! And that's going to take Tyranitar down in 1 hit. The luck is just on my side right now, I'm telling you. I'm pumped. Other than Hydro Pump missing there, almost everything has been going my way. Gligar is the next Pokemon out. And Brick Break from Sandslash is going to be super effective on Aggron, but it doesn't matter. He only had 1 HP. And he's going to go down, but he did his duty. Aha, duty. I said duty. Deal with it. He knocked out that Tyranitar. And Tyranitar can be devastating when it uses Earthquake. Even though it's not a stab move, Tyranitar's attack stat is just monstrous. So getting it off the field first is essential. So Gligar is a ground and flying type Pokemon, so it's quad weak to ice, and it's switching him out here to Cacturn. And I'm not sure exactly why. But I'm going to go for an Ice Punch with Zaffrong. I was hoping to use it on Gligar. It would have killed him in 1 hit, and it barely doesn't kill Cacturn. Leaves it in the red, but Hydro Pump connects this time, and Sandslash is not going to be able to stand up to that, especially in the rain. So Sandslash goes down, and Gligar's going to come back out, and he's not going to make it through the next turn, I don't think. So the key to this battle... really, it's just changing the weather condition. If you can keep the Sandstorm off the field, their Sandveil abilities will not kick in, and you'll have a very easy time eliminating all of them, especially if you have a pretty varied team, and you have a lot of different attacks, you know, a variety of different moves that you can use. specifically water and ice type moves, you'll be golden in this battle. Aggron is a replacement, and Gligar goes for a Guillotine, which is a one-hit KO move, and it misses Vaporeon. And that allows us to pull off an Ice Beam, which connects with Gligar, and he's going to go down in one hit to that. So now we just have Aggron left, and is he the last Pokemon? He is. So that's pretty much going to be it for this battle, honestly. I don't see Aggron coming back to win this. We'll go for an Ice Punch and a Thunder. Not Ice Punch. Hydro Pump and a Thunder. Thunder obviously is going to connect automatically because of the rain condition, and Aggron can't even stand up to that because of its poor special defense stat. And of course our Zaprong is pretty strong too. Let's not take anything away from him, and that's going to be the end of this battle. And we're 16 minutes into this video, and we're only through 2 battles, so as you can tell, this is going to be one hell of a long video. But it definitely is worth it. I am super excited for this. This is some finale, I have to say. Alright, we're up to zone number 93 now, and let's see. Vaporeon grew up to level 66, so I can afford to switch him out. We'll put Flygon and Crobat together because they make an awesome team. I can just spam Earthquake. I'll have you know, my Pokemon are quite astounding. Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're amazing. Chaser Rillian, which is actually somewhat close to a real name, so bravo. And this is going to be, I call it the Pokemon Coliseum team, because she's going to start off with Umbreon and Raikou, but the team consists of Espeon and Umbreon, which are the 2 starting Pokemon from Pokemon Coliseum, and then the 3 legendary dogs, which were featured in Pokemon Coliseum, so thus the name Pokemon Coliseum team, or just the Coliseum team for short. Whatever floats your boat. We're going to go for a Poison Fang on Umbreon, and that doesn't do a lot of damage because Umbreon, again, is just a crazy-ass tank. That's right, crazy-ass tank. It's ridiculous with how much it can endure. And as you can see, Earthquake does almost nothing. I mean, of course, that's with a Reflect that Raikou just put up, but still, Earthquake is like one of my most powerful attacks. And because of the Reflect, Raikou is able to stay alive, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to knock him out that turn. Umbreon is going to go for a Confuse Ray on Flygon, so that's good, actually, because Crobat's the fastest one on the field, even faster than Raikou, which is something I wasn't really expecting. Usually Raikou will be the fastest one on the field, but this Crobat, I think, is going to save my ass throughout this entire area, because some of these Pokemon are just so quick, and Crobat's going to be the only one that can outspeed them. So Poison Fang finishes off Raikou, and that's good because Raikou could have very easily knocked out Crobat in one hit with a Thunder. And that didn't happen. Suicune is the replacement Pokemon. It's the Water-type legendary dog. It does usually have Mirror Coat. I don't know if this specific one does, but be careful when attacking it with special attacks. It does have high special defense, so it can take a lot of hits and then reflect that damage back on you with Mirror Coat. Helping Hand is what Umbreon appears to like to spam here, which just increases the power of its partner's move that is used that turn. Umbreon doesn't have a lot of attacks available to it. Obviously, we saw Confuse Ray and now Helping Hand. I'm sure its only attack is either Shadow Ball or Feint Attack. That's usually what they keep them with. And then I'm sure it has some other status condition type attack. Maybe Moonlight to recover HP, we'll see. Ice Beam from Suicune is going to knock out Flygon, which sucks, but the main reason I wanted Flygon out there is to get an Earthquake off on Raikou, and he did just that, so I'm not really worried about him going down there. We're not going to need him for the rest of this battle. Obviously, Earthquake would be super effective on Entei as well, but we do have Vaporeon and Aggron that can deal with Entei as well. Now, Umbreon just keeps going for Helping Hand here, and I don't understand why. It should be going for Confuse Ray. That would be the smart thing to do. We'll go for a Poison Fang on Umbreon, and because of the Reflect, just really not doing anything. But we do get the Poison Condition off on Umbreon, and the Synchronized ability that it has to basically duplicate whatever the status condition it receives onto the opposing Pokemon fails because Crobat is a Poison type. And that part is awesome because that Synchronized ability is a great ability, and it's very pesky, if you will. Waterfall from Suicune ends up getting himself paralyzed because of Zaprong's static ability, so Suicune has almost no health left. And, let's see. Umbreon's going to go for Helping Hand again. I think what I'm going to do is just let Umbreon die from poisoning, so not even worry about attacking him, and just focus on his partner so that they don't get a Helping Hand off. So we're going to go with Giga Drain with Crobat, and that's going to get rid of Suicune, who really didn't have that much HP left to begin with, but it's super effective. And Zaprong is going to grow up to level 66. Yay! And we have Espeon as the next Pokemon. So Espeon also has the synchronized ability, which means this Thunder Wave that we're using on Espeon is going to get Zaprong paralyzed. But the main reason I was hoping Espeon was coming out next is because Espeon is so fast. It's ridiculous. It's Raikou fast, and I would not be surprised if this specific Espeon was faster than my Crobat. And one Psychic sends Crobat out of here. One hit, it would be super effective, and Espeon has such a high special attack stat that it just, it can really wreak havoc on any team. It's a very good sweeper, especially if it gets a Calm Mind off. It just, ridiculous. Alright, so Shadow Ball gets Espeon down into the red zone, so that part is good. It does get a Psychic off, but it doesn't use it on Crobat, which I don't understand. Crobat is the one that's destroying your whole team here, not Flygon and Zaprong, so I don't know why they're going after them. Anyway, Electabuzz goes down, and we're going to send out Aggron, knowing that Umbreon here is getting knocked out by the poison at last, after a couple of turns. And that means Entei is coming out. And Entei likes to use Fire Blast, but it really doesn't have a very high special attack stat. In fact, its physical attacking stat is much higher. So I'm confident that Aggron can withstand a couple of Fire Blasts, at least enough to get some Rock Tombs off and lower its speed and inflict super effective damage. So double teaming it, we should be okay. Entei's going to go for a Fire Blast here as expected, but he's going to use it on Crobat. Doesn't even take away half of his HP, which is sad because Fire Blast has 120 base power, and it's a stab move. And Entei has the level advantage. Of course, it's only one level, but come on, you're legendary. One level for you should be like 5 levels for everyone else. Alright, so Rock Tomb takes away just slightly less than half of Entei's HP, but with Poison Fang, this next Rock Tomb should get rid of Entei, and that should be the end of this battle. Entei is going to get another Fire Blast off, however, and he hits Aggron with it, takes away pretty much exactly half of his HP, which is fine by me, and Rock Tomb doesn't miss, which I'm very surprised about, because I honestly figured Rock Tomb would just miss. I mean, that's just what it does. It seems to hit only like once every other turn, but I'm not complaining. Entei goes down to the Rock Tomb, and that's going to be it for this battle. Chaserillion is done for. So we're moving on to zone number 94 now. And we're approaching the 24-minute mark in this video, so yikes. This is such an awesome finale. I'm so excited. So excited. Alright, so despite having Crobat grow up to level 66, I'm not going to worry about who's at what level. I'm just going to go for whatever I think is going to be the best option for me to win the battle, because this is it. This is what it all comes down to. It's not about who's at what level at this point, because I came into this all at the same level, so I'm not going to worry about it now. It's about winning the battles. That's what we're about. We're all about winning. Sceptile and Swampert are the starting Pokemon, so 2 Hoenn starters. This is actually going to be a battle of all starting Pokemon. It's a bodybuilder, isn't it? I think it is. Yeah, it is. Anyway, he's going to have Sceptile, Swampert, and Blaziken from Hoenn, and then Meganium, Feraligatr, and Typhlosion from Johto. So we're going to open up with an Air Lace from Crobat, and that actually finishes off Sceptile before it can even get a move off, which is very important because Sceptile is so fast again. And a lot of times it will come with Ice Punch, and that's what I was afraid of, because that would have just done a number on Flygon, and he would be gone. I went for a Flamethrower thinking maybe Meganium would be coming out next, but it was Typhlosion. I guessed wrong, so that didn't work out so well. And I guess knocking out Sceptile didn't do a whole lot in terms of protecting Flygon because Swampert ended up having Ice Beam. So Flygon goes down. Alright, so we have Swampert and Typhlosion to deal with here. So Swampert is water and ground type, so its only weakness is going to be grass. And Typhlosion is just a pure fire type, so it has all the normal fire weaknesses from rock, ground, and water. So what we're going to do is go for a Giga Drain. I know Swampert is pretty bulky, but we get a critical hit there, and that's going to take out the Swampert in one hit. So normally I don't think Giga Drain from Crobat would knock it out that easily, but critical hit definitely saved us there. Alright, which is also good news because I was kind of wondering if they were going to go for an Earthquake, even, you know, just sacrificing Typhlosion to get rid of Aggron, but doesn't matter now. Typhlosion is going to go for a Fire Blast, which would do a lot of damage, but it misses, and that allows us to get a Rock Tomb off with Aggron, and that's going to lower this Typhlosion's speed quite a bit, and also get him down into the red zone. So we should be able to take him out this turn. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to go with an Aerial Ace with Crobat just to make sure that Typhlosion doesn't get a Fire Blast off, because that's just going to do a lot of damage. So get rid of Typhlosion. Oh, that's good. So Meganium? Oh no, Blaziken is next. Fire and Fighting type Pokemon, so it's weak to Flying and Psychic as well as Ground. And Hydro Pump from Feraligatr gets a critical hit, but only brings Crobat down to 65 HP. And that's mainly because Feraligatr's physical attack is way, way higher than its special attack, which really hurts it in this generation because Water and Ice-type moves, which are very popular among Water-type Pokemon, just won't do a lot of damage with that low of a special attack rating. Aerial Ace from Crobat almost knocks out Blaziken, but it leaves him in the red zone. And a Thunder Punch, which is a great move for Blaziken to have to defend against flying types, connects, and Crobat goes down finally, but not after definitely inflicting some awesome damage. Considering that... oh crap, Hydro Pump missed. Thank you. Okay, but considering that Meganium is the only Pokemon left, I'm going to bring out Ninetales so that we can make quick work of it when it does come out, because it should come out this turn. So let's see here. We'll go for a Rock Tomb on Feraligatr, and we'll finish off Blaziken with a Flamethrower. It won't be very effective, but Blaziken doesn't have very good defenses, or at least not good enough to withstand a Flamethrower with that much HP left, which wasn't that much at all. So Blaziken's going to go down, and Meganium will be the last Pokemon. And Meganium is a pure Grass type, much like Sceptile is, so it has a lot of weaknesses. Fire, Bug, Flying, Ice, Poison. Too many weaknesses. Way too many. Feraligatr's going to go for an Earthquake here, so I guess he was just sacrificing Blaziken. He was just assuming he was going to die regardless. It's not going to be very effective on Meganium. Aggron was able to tank it, and Ninetales, yes, Ninetales survives as well with a good amount of HP. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that Ninetales survived. It will be the fastest one this turn, so Flamethrower will be enough to get rid of Meganium. Now Ninetales can die, and I'll be fine. Not worried about it. The important part was getting rid of that Meganium, because with Crobat gone, they didn't really have anything else to use on it other than Vaporeon and using Ice Beam, but I didn't want it to have to come to that. Alright, so Rock Tomb from Aggron, a third Rock Tomb. Finally, Feraligatr goes down, and that's going to be it for Solog. That'll be the end of this battle. We're almost, but not quite, but almost to the halfway point. Alright, so it's time for zone number 95. Alright, let's see what I want to do with our team here. Let's see, I'll put Vaporeon up in the front. Take Crobat out because he's been getting a lot of action lately, and we'll leave it like that. We'll do Flygon and Vaporeon. We'll see how that does. I'll let you in on a little secret. I made all the zones right here on Mount Battle. Well, isn't that just fantastic? Worker Saken, or Saken, although I'm just not confident that I know what is the correct pronunciation there. So he's going to start off with Rhydon and Mantine, and the obvious red flag that should be going off in your head is that Rhydon is paired with a Pokemon that has a quad weakness to electricity, which means this Rhydon has the Lightning Rod ability. Definitely. So do not try to use Thunderbolt or Thunder or Thunder Punch on Mantine. Rhydon will siphon it in, and you won't be able to get your attack off because Rhydon will be immune to it. So first objective is to get rid of Rhydon. You can attack it with pretty much any special attack. Ice works. Water and grass work even better because he does have the 4 times weakness to it. And the likely next Pokemon is going to be Manectric because Manectric also has a Lightning Rod ability. It's not immune to electricity like Rhydon is, but it does have the Lightning Rod ability. And now in the rain, Manectric can pull off a Thunder, and Mantine is going to have its Swift Swim ability activated. So now it's the fastest one on the field. It's going to go for a Confuse Ray on Flygon, which isn't surprising because Earthquake would be the logical move. But Flygon's confused, but we weren't going for Earthquake. Obviously, we had a Solar Beam charged up, but because it's raining out now, Solar Beam really doesn't do anything because its attacking power is diminished in the rain. Crunch, which I don't understand why you're using Crunch on Flygon there. It would have made much more sense to go for a Thunder or Thunderbolt or anything electric on Flygon. That allows us to pull off an Ice Beam with Vaporeon, and doesn't quite knock out Manectric there, leaves him in the red zone. We should be able to finish him off this turn, though, and that'll be it for the Lightning Rod Pokemon. So after this point, once you knock out Rhydon and Manectric, it's safe to start using electric attacks, because that's what you want to do to knock out Mantine. That's the easiest way to get rid of him. Hydro Pump, and because of the rain, that's going to do a lot of damage, and Flygon goes down. Alright, so it makes the most sense for us to bring out Zaprong now because we're going to want to pull off a Thunder in the next turn. Crunch from Manectric on Zaprong doesn't do too much, like 47 HP worth of damage, which isn't a lot for this level. Another Ice Beam from Vaporeon, and Manectric is done for, so no more Lightning Rods, which means we're going to be going for Thunder on Mantine in the next turn. Ooh, or maybe on Starmie. Depends. Starmie's the next Pokemon. Water and Psychic type. It's very fast and very strong with its special attack. And it a lot of times will have Thunder. It a lot of times will have Ice Beam as well as Hydro Pump. The amount of moves that it can just use are just ridiculous. And as you can see there, Hydro Pump takes out Zaprong, so that part is unfortunate. Because that means, well, I didn't really get a chance to use Thunder, which kind of defeats my plan there. And that just goes to show you, when they have rain out on the field, and these teams that are built around using Rain Dance and Water-type Pokemon, I just don't fare very well against them because Swift Swim activates, and then they become faster than my Electric-type Pokemon and can knock them out before they can get a Thunder off. Bite is super effective on Starmie because it is part Psychic type, and Starmie's fairly on the fragile side, so it takes away more than half of its HP, so we'll be able to kill it in one more turn. But we still have that Mantine to deal with and no Electric type moves to use on it, so that part sucks, especially because of its ridiculously high special defense stat. Just most attacks that are special don't really do anything. Shadow Ball is able to knock out Starmie before it can get another attack off because Crobat is my savior and is faster than freaking everything. Gyarados is the last Pokemon, so we have another water and flying type Pokemon here with no electric type moves to use. It's not good news for me. We do have Ice Beam, but that's not going to do a lot of damage. And nope. Wow, it's pitiful. And with Gyarados out on the field, its Intimidate did lower both of our attack stats, so that's bad news for Crobat. But thankfully the rain did end. I'm assuming Mantine's going to try to restart it during this turn, though. Crobat hits himself in Confusion, which I can't say that I'm surprised about. And, oh crap, forgot about that. Gyarados is going to go for Dragon Dance here. And that increases both its attack and its speed. And that is just not good because Gyarados will almost always rely on physical attacks. And in a lot of cases, it has Earthquake, and that will just plow through your team because Gyarados will go first on every turn and have a ridiculous amount of attacking power behind that Earthquake, and there's going to be nothing you can do. And in addition to that, that's Gyarados' best defense against the bane of its existence, which is Electric-type Pokemon. If you happen to have one left at this point, if it pulls off an Earthquake, it's as good as gone. Alright, well, Poison Fang doesn't do that much, and Mantine's going to get another Hydro Pump off. And Crobat is able to survive it, thankfully, with 66 HP left, and Gyarados does, in fact, have Earthquake. It doesn't affect Mantine or Crobat, because they're both flying types, but it is going to hit Vaporeon, and after one Dragon Dance, even though it's not a stab move, it takes Vaporeon almost down to half HP. That's just a lot of damage. And Ice Beam, finally, after like 3 or 4 hits, Mantine finally will go down. And now we just have this Gyarados to deal with, and if we can double team it, we should be okay. At least I'm hoping. Alright, so let's see here. I'm going to go for a Poison Fang with Crobat. And, oh crap, he's still confused. I forgot about that. And he hits himself in confusion, so, not cool. Flail? Why are you using Flail with full HP, Gyarados? You idiot! Okay, so Flail has a special effect of inflicting more damage, kind of like Reversal. It inflicts more damage the lower your HP is, but Gyarados had full HP and he used Flail on Crobat. It did like, what, 10 damage? This is stupid. He should have went for another Earthquake. That would have made the most sense. So anyway, Poison Fang from Crobat. That gets Gyarados down to about half HP, and now Flail's going to do a little bit more damage. Enough to kill off Crobat, but why this Gyarados even has Flail in the first place is kind of beyond me, because I believe Magikarp is the only one that can learn Flail, not Gyarados, so he would have had to have trained his Magikarp up to like level 30 something, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Ice Beam gets Gyarados down into the red zone, and the rain is still falling, but that doesn't mean anything because this battle's over. We do have Aggron out on the field. It'll go down to an Earthquake, but that's A-okay. And, yeah, Aggron can't survive that. Poor Aggron. He wasn't able to even get an attack off, but that's okay. And Vaporeon hangs on barely with 26 HP left. We'll send out Ninetales, who happens to be our last Pokemon, but like I said, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that I was able to get this Ice Beam off, and since I'm doing that right now, that's going to be the end of this battle as Gyarados goes down, and I kind of barely hung on to this battle as well, because if Gyarados were to pull off another Earthquake, Vaporeon and Ninetales would both go down, and I would have lost. So, again, with these Pokemon, or not these Pokemon, but these teams that rely on the Rain Dance strategies, I just have a lot of trouble with. The key is to having your Electric-type Pokemon, or Pokemon that know Electric-type moves, to be able to survive long enough to pull them off. Because in a lot of cases, if you can pull off one Thunder or one Thunderbolt, you'll be able to knock out a lot of Pokemon. Or at least whoever you hit it with in one shot. Because you can't knock out multiple Pokemon with one Thunderbolt. Right. Alright, well that's enough of that. Moving on to zone number 96. Let's see here. We have Aggron, Vaporeon, and Electabuzz, and Crobat, all at level 66. That leaves Flygon and Ninetales at 65. Anywho, let's do this. Newscaster Civil is our opponent, and she's going to be starting off with Togetic and Ninjask. So, the name of this strategy, well, I guess it doesn't really have a name, but the premise of this strategy is going to be using Togetic's Follow Me to allow Ninjask to build up its stats and then baton pass them out to the rest of her team. So, for one instance, Ninjask has the Speed Boost ability, which increases its speed after every turn. So when it uses Baton Pass, all the speed boosts that it's accumulated are going to pass on to the next Pokemon as well. So she's going to pass it on to slow Pokemon that will then make them very fast as well. So Togetic got hit by the Ice Beam there. And we're going to get a Rock Tomb off on Togetic, and yes, With the combination of Ice Beam and Rock Tomb, Togetic goes down, which means no more freaking Follow Me's. And Togetic's existence is just for pure fodder. So it'll just keep using Follow Me over and over again. That enables us to draw the Ursaring out so it can't get the benefits from the speed boost, which is good. But she still has 4 other Pokemon to do that with. So it's going to go for a Protect here to ensure it gets at least one more speed boost off. And that means that, well, Ice Beam isn't going to hit Ninjask at all. Alright, so Ursaring is going to go for an Earthquake. That's going to leave Aggron with 49 HP left, and Vaporeon is going to tank that fairly well and end up having 180 HP left. Ninjask is indeed going to get that speed boost. And on this turn, we're going to try a Brick Break with Aggron on Ursaring. That's going to be super effective. And hopefully we can get him down at least below half HP. But anyway, we were going to go for an Ice Beam with Vaporeon on Ninjask and go for the super effective hit there. But Ninjask obviously outsped us and went for a Baton Pass into Miltank, which also has the Thick Fat ability, as I've mentioned quite a few times. And the downside to that is that Thick Fat will have the damage from Ice and Fire type attacks, so that's why Ice Beam doesn't do hardly anything there. Ursaring is going to pull off another Earthquake, and Aggron is going to go down to this one. It is 4 times super effective after all, and Ursaring just has an amazing attack stat. And Vaporeon does survive that as well. And it also hits Miltank because, like I said a bunch of times, in this area specifically, the trainers just have no regard for their Pokemon at all. Especially when it comes to partner Pokemon enduring Earthquakes. They just use Earthquake every turn, regardless of who's on the field. They don't always go for the Protect combo. They don't even always have a Pokemon with Levitate or a Flying type Pokemon on the field as a partner. They just unleash Earthquakes left and right and, don't care who gets caught in the crossfire. Because of that, Miltank is now down to half HP, and all we hit it with was essentially a not very effective Ice Beam. Anyway, Miltank's going to be really fast now because of that Baton Pass, and also quite strong as well because it went for the Swords Dance a couple of times, at least once. And as a result, Body Slam almost takes out Crobat there. But anyway, Flygon's Earthquake takes out Ursaring, and that means no more Earthquakes from him. And Earthquake from Flygon on Miltank just barely doesn't knock it out, so he does survive, unfortunately. And I'm hoping that Crobat will be okay to outspeed it, but I'm not entirely confident about that. Ninjask is going to be coming back out onto the field now, probably to do some more Swords Dancing and Baton Passing and all that stuff. So we'll go for a Dragon Breath on Miltank, and then that will open up Aerial Ace for Ninjask. But Miltank's actually going to be the fastest one on the field, and it outspeeds both Ninjask and Crobat, goes for the Body Slam on Crobat and takes it out before it can take out Ninjask. So that is a problem. Alright, next we're going to have to bring out Ninetales. And Ninetales will be able to get rid of Ninjask in one hit, but it's going to be able to at least get another Swords Dance off, and maybe a Baton Pass too. So Ninjask could still survive technically here. Flygon's going to go for the Dragon Breath on Miltank, and finally this thing is going to go down because, man, that thing was strong and fast after those speed boosts and Swords Dance. So obviously your top priority here is going to be to get rid of Ninjask first, because he causes all the problems. If you get rid of him, and then there will be no more Baton Passing, you don't have to worry about these super powerful Pokemon. They're also super fast coming out. Breloom is next, and Breloom is going to be a Grass and Fighting type Pokemon, and as such, it does have a 4 times weakness to Flying types. If you have one at this point, that would be a good time to bring it out, especially because Ursaring likes to use Earthquake as well, so you'll also be immune to that if Ursaring hasn't come out yet in the battle. We're going to use Ninetales to go for a Flamethrower on Breloom, and that'll take him out before he gets a chance to do anything. Ninetales also grows up to level 66, finally, and Flygon isn't quite there yet, sadly. Armaldo is going to be the replacement Pokemon, Rock and Bug type Pokemon. It's the evolution of Anorith. It's the fossil Pokemon from the Hoenn region. It does rely very heavily on its very high physical attacking stats. So this thing, again, can be very dangerous when teamed up with a speed boost and a Swords Dancer, too. Silverwind on Ninetales hardly does any damage. It's not very effective. Probably was going for the stat boost there. And we get a Dragon Breath off from Flygon on that Armaldo. And it does indeed paralyze him, so that is good. And we're going to get a Flamethrower off from Ninetales, and maybe that'll finish it off. Not quite. Leaves him with a little bit of HP left, but he's not going to make it out of the next turn, so that part's good. Rock Blast, however, is a stab move, and it is super effective. It hits Ninetales twice, and that's just too much for Ninetales to handle. He goes down. So we're left with a very injured Vaporeon and a Zaprong, so we're going to send out the very injured Vaporeon first. That makes the most sense. Ninjask, of course, is still getting the speed boost. So annoying. And it turns out that Ninjask is probably going to be one of the last Pokemon to get knocked out on this team. Because I think it's just down to Armaldo now. Armaldo and Ninjask. Vaporeon goes down to 1 Silverwind, so that didn't work out so well. We'll send out Zaprong because that's our only option. Hello, Zaprong. And we're going to go for a Flamethrower with Flygon on Ninjask, and thankfully, finally, Ninjask is gonna bite the dust, and we're left with just a paralyzed Armaldo who's in the red zone. Goes for an Earthquake. It misses Flygon because of Levitate, and it's gonna... Oh, I thought it was gonna take out Zaprong, but Zaprong tanks it like a boss. 24 HP left. I swear, all the luck is going my way in this entire area. Flamethrower finishes off Armaldo, and that's going to be the end of this battle. Thankfully, because that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I really thought I was going to run away with that battle, and that was not the case. Anyway, that's going to be it for battle number 96. And we've got 4 battles left, 97, 8, 9, and 100. And I'm thinking this is still going to take quite a while, but I'm so ready for this. Alright, let's see. I've got Aggron and Vaporeon out at the front right now, but maybe I should switch that around a little bit. Let's see. We'll take Vaporeon out, and should we put Crobat back in? Yeah, why not? I know he's a lot higher in level than the other Pokemon. And by not a lot, but he's only one at 67, but that's okay. I'm here to win. I'm not here to even out levels at this point. It's Area 10. It's the finale. We just need to win this. Alright, we have Cool Trainer Floston. Interesting name. Crobat and Hariyama are going to be the starting Pokemon, and the main strategy throughout this entire battle is going to be to activate the Guts ability. She's got, I think, 3 Pokemon with the Guts ability, maybe 4. 3 or 4 Pokemon that have Guts. And then she's got these really fast Pokemon like Swellow, who also has Guts ability, and then Crobat, who's extremely fast. And what they like to do is use the fast Pokemon to use Toxic on the Pokemon with Guts, and then use Facade. So it activates the Guts ability and increases their attack, and then Facade will double that. And it just does a ridiculous amount of damage, and as long as you're not either resistant or immune to their attacks, they're going to take you out in one hit if that happens. So you need to focus immediately on the Pokemon that have the Guts ability. You can afford to leave the Toxicking Pokemon alone, because they'll just keep doing the same thing. Obviously, they didn't even attempt to go for it there, but I went right after that Hariyama to get rid of him, and that makes things so much easier. Alright, this level 69 Crobat just keeps using Shadow Ball on Aggron, and I don't understand why. Why not use it on Crobat? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. So Rock Tomb misses again, so we're still unable to get an attack off on the Crobat. Machamp is another Pokemon that they like to use Toxic on. It does have the Guts ability, and thankfully it's been 2 Fighting-type Pokemon so far, so my Crobat can definitely get the type advantage with Aerial Ace, and he's been dealing a lot of damage there. Alright, so Shadow Ball again on Aggron, which makes no sense, but this time Rock Tomb actually hits, and it's not going to take out the Crobat, but it's going to lower its speed a little bit. And by the way, somehow my Crobat is faster than the opponent Crobat. doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all because that Crobat is a lot higher leveled. I mean, I guess not a lot, but 2 levels is a lot at this point. Anywho, Cross Chop from Machamp takes out Aggron very easily. So I don't know, I guess that means Crobat's going to have to do something else besides Shadow Ball, maybe? Or maybe not. We'll send out Ninetales next. And let's see here. We're going to go for a Flamethrower, and we'll use Flamethrower on Machamp to make sure that he gets off the field. And we can go for an Aerial Ace, too, and see what happens here. So Crobat's going to go first and get the Aerial Ace off. Machamp will go down, and then the replacement Pokemon is going to have to take the Flamethrower, which I think is a good strategy because I know one of her Pokemon coming up is Heracross. Nah, Swellow was still in there too, so unfortunately did not guess correctly, but that's okay. It still means that Swellow's going to have to take the Flamethrower, and it might kill it. And it does, so Swellow's not going to get a chance to do anything. Swellow is one of its main Toxicking Pokemon as well, so that's just not going to work out very well. Heracross is the last Pokemon. That's what I was aiming for with that Flamethrower, and it just kind of didn't work out. But Crobat, here we go. Toxic on Heracross is going to activate his Guts ability. Heracross is a little bit on the slow side, though. So you have that as an advantage. If he uses it on Swellow, you're in trouble because Swellow is lightning fast. Aerial Ace is going to be 4 times super effective on Heracross, and down he goes. 1 hit. That was like nothing. Alright. Flamethrower with Ninetales, and it's going to finish off Crobat, and that's going to be the end of this battle. Not that difficult of a battle if you can prevent them from getting set up with the Toxic. If you can just keep taking out the Pokemon that has Guts, or immediately take out Crobat so that he can't use Toxic at all, you're going to be in a much better position rather than letting them get set up, because they will just sweep through your team, especially if Swellow's the one that gets Toxic, and you're just screwed. That's what it is. Alright, we're up to zone number 98 now. Well, we're getting there, but the pressure is mounting. I can feel it. If we lose, I'm going to be pissed. Alright, so let's see here. I'll switch Vaporeon back to the front, and we'll give Crobat a rest, because Crobat has been in like every single battle so far. Yeah. Well, let's see. I'll take Aggron out, and should I put Ninetales in? Zaprong? Decisions. So much to choose from. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. We'll stick with Aggron and Vaporeon and go from there. Alright, let's do this. Zone number 98. Cool Trainer Tetil. However you want to say it. Alright. This strategy from this trainer is going to rely, instead of rain for a change, it's going to rely around Sunny Day, which is a strategy that we haven't really seen a whole lot of so far. We've got Shiftry and Castform on the field right now. Shiftry is a Grass and Dark type Pokemon. Castform, on the other hand, is just a normal Pokemon, but it does benefit from the weather. It changes types and forms and all that stuff. But on the first turn, almost always, whoever comes out with Shiftry is going to use Protect. And Shiftry is going to go for an Explosion. It does almost no damage to Aggron because both of his types are resistant to it. The Vaporeon goes down. And I really thought Vaporeon was going to tank that, but just it appeared as though he just barely didn't. Alright, so we're down Vaporeon on the first turn. It's kind of like an eye for an eye there with Shiftry going down as well. He's going to send out Flygon, and we know Flygon inside and out. Ground and Dragon type. Quad weak to Ice. So let's see what we can do. Rock Tomb misses Castform, but that's not that much of a surprise. I was expecting Castform to go first and go for a Sunny Day and then have it be super effective because Castform would have switched to Fire type, but that wasn't the case. Flygon's going to open up with an Earthquake here. It's going to be super effective on Aggron, and that's going to take him out. And it's also going to do damage to Castform because, again, they just use Earthquake and don't care. And somehow Zaprong survives that stab Earthquake from Flygon with 4 HP. Even though it's super effective and Zaprong has almost no defense. I don't know how in the world he survived that. I'm not going to question it. Let's see. We'll send out Ninetales. he should be able to benefit from the sun if it does come out. Zaprong is now going to be able to get his Ice Punch off, which he shouldn't have been able to do, and he in fact takes out the Flygon, so the irony there is kind of crazy. Zaprong surviving with 4 HP and then in turn taking out the Flygon with an Ice Punch. Jumpluff is the replacement Pokemon. It's going to be a grass and flying type Pokemon. It's the final evolution of Hoppip. It does have the Chlorophyll ability, so in the sunlight it's going to be twice as fast. It's pretty much the grass type version of Swift Swim. So yeah, there we go. With Sunny Day out, Castform is changed into a fire type Pokemon, so keep that in mind. Jumpluff also has a 4 times weakness to the ice type because of its part flying type. And it's going to open up with a Sleep Powder, not on Ninetales, which makes no sense whatsoever. He's going to use it on the Pokemon that only has 4 HP left, and leave Ninetales open to attack. He's going to go for a Flamethrower, get a critical hit, but it would have killed him anyway with the sunlight out. And Jumpluff ends up going down because of it. And if he had used Sleep Powder on Ninetales, he could very well have gotten the upper hand in this battle. But that's not the case. Zaprong is fast asleep, and Castform is going to go for a Weather Ball, I assume, on Zaprong. Yeah, that's what I thought. So putting him to sleep was really stupid. And down Electabuzz goes, so we're left with Crobat and Flygon left to choose from. I'm going to go for, let's see, I'm going to go for Flygon here. And Houndoom was a replacement Pokemon that came in for Jumpluff. It's a fire and dark type Pokemon. It's very fast, and it's also very powerful. It packs quite the punch. I'm going to switch Ninetales out for Crobat so that I can pull off an Earthquake, and that should be the end of this battle. I just didn't want to kill Ninetales. I figured it would be better if he got some of the experience from this. So Flygon will go first. Somehow it outspeeds the Houndoom, which I was not expecting, especially considering it's at level 69. But Houndoom goes down in 1 hit because it's fairly fragile, and it's super effective on Castform because of its changed form as well. And it goes down, and those were his last 2 Pokemon, so that is going to be the end of this battle, and Flygon just barely holds on to level 65 there. So close. Once he defeats 1 more Pokemon, he'll grow up to level 66. Finally. Because he came into this area at level 65. Everybody did. I think he's the only one that hasn't grown a level. I believe. Yeah, he is. It's kind of sad, actually, because he's one of my most powerful members of my team. Alright, well, we're up to zone number 99 now. Here you are. Only 2 of us remain now. Battle hard so you won't leave any regrets. Alright, well, I guess we have no choice but to battle hard. As if we were going to take it easy on her. Right. Super Trainer Libel. Or Libel, depending. And she's going to send out Regirock and Glalie. So Glalie is a pure Ice-type Pokemon, so it has a ridiculous amount of weaknesses. Ice. Not Ice. It is an Ice type. Duh. Rock. Steel, fire, fighting. It's kind of ridiculous how many weaknesses it has. Alright, so Protect. And that means Regirock is going to go for an explosion here. Crap! Flamethrower is not going to hit Glalie. And Iron Tail, I don't think that's going to take out Regirock with its massive defensive stat. No, not even close. Which means Regirock is going to get that explosion off. No! No! There it goes, and obviously it's not going to do a lot of damage to Aggron, but that's just going to decimate Ninetales. Goodbye. But on the bright side, Regirock is down, and we didn't really have to do anything to it. I tried to kill it before it got off the explosion, but just did not work out. And unfortunately, with Ninetales going down, that gets rid of a potential killer for Glalie, because I like using fire on Glalie. That's the easiest way to kill it. I can also use rock or steel or fighting, but still, Ninetales is the most reliable kill there. Anyway, 2 electric-type Pokemon are going to come onto the field now. We have Zaprong on our side, Electrode on the other side. And Electrode is easily the fastest Pokemon in the game, so it's going to go first pretty much no matter what, unless you have your own Electrode that's somehow faster than it or higher leveled. It's going to go for a Thunderbolt on Zaprong. Why would you use that on Zaprong? You could have taken away easily half of Aggron's HP that way. And that's pretty much going to be Electrode's biggest downfall there. Ice Beam from Glalie, not very effective on Aggron. They should have done it the other way around. Ice Beam on Zaprong, Thunderbolt on Aggron. That would have made the most sense. But because of that misstep, we're going to get an Iron Tail off, and it connects with Glalie. It's super effective, and it takes him out in one hit. And Zaprong also, this turn, was able to pull off a Thunder Wave on Electrode to really slow him down. So, we are just kicking Libel's ass right now. Alright, so one of the other legendary golems is going to come out onto the field now. Registeel. It's a pure Steel-type Pokemon, which means it is immune to poison, so keep that in mind. Don't try to Toxic it or anything stupid like that. So we're going to go for Thunder, and it does have a lot of special defense, which is unusual for a Steel-type. But as you can see, it didn't do a lot of damage there. Brick Break, super effective as well, but it gets it down into the low yellow. And Superpower is a fighting type move, which also has some recoil. Not recoil damage, but it decreases Registeel's attack and defense at the same time. It is 4 times super effective against Aggron, however, so he goes down. And let's see. It's going to make the most sense to bring out Flygon here. If we can pull off an Earthquake, we can knock out Registeel and Electrode in one turn. And Electrode is unable to move, so he's going to lose his turn. I was expecting a Thunderbolt on Aggron, so it would have made the most sense to send out Flygon and absorb that, but didn't matter. We're going to switch out to Crobat so I can pull off this Earthquake. Flygon is the fastest one on the field because of Electrode's paralysis, and Electrode does not have the defense necessary to stand up to a super effective Earthquake. Down it goes. And Registeel had his defense lowered, and I mean, he was in the low yellow zone anyway, so he's not going to be able to stand up to that. And Registeel goes down as well. Double KO. Flygon also is going to grow up to level 66. Finally. Meanwhile, Crobat is just about at level 68. Anywho, Regice is going to be one of the replacement Pokemon. It's a pure Ice-type Pokemon. We've seen it before. It has a lot of special attack and special defense. It's just very, very difficult to kill, especially if you're using fire on it. I mean, it's super effective, and you would think that you'd be able to kill it in 1 or 2 hits, but it'll just absorb those attacks like there's no tomorrow. It's kind of ridiculous. Shedinja was the other replacement Pokemon. Obviously, it has 1 HP. It has the Wonder Guard ability, so you need to hit it with something that's super effective, but if you do, you can take it out in 1 hit, no problem. I had Aerial Ace with Crobat, so that does the job. Critical hit from Earthquake on Regice, and it still doesn't kill him. Are you kidding me? Regice is now going to be able to get off that Ice Beam on Flygon, I assume. Yep. How did I guess? Everybody tries to take out Flygon. That's just because he's so dangerous. When he is on the field, he's getting KOs all the time. But he doesn't stay on the field very long because someone's bound to have an ice move. Alright, we'll send out Vaporeon and let him be on the field for the kill. We'll go for a Poison Fang with Crobat, and that should finish off this Regice, who was down in the red zone anyway, and down it goes. And that's going to be the end of this battle. We did pretty good there. Really, the only misstep that we had was allowing Regirock to go for the explosion at the beginning of the battle. But it ended up being a downfall for Libel, as she was already down 1 Pokemon that easily, and one of her better ones as well. Alright, well that's going to be it for zone number 99, which means one thing. It's time for the final battle. This is our final showdown. This is the last thing we're going to be doing in Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. After this, we're going to be all done. And it's kind of sad, honestly, because we're on episode 116. This has been going on for, what, 5 months? Something like that. 4.5 to 5 months. And it's going to be kind of sad to not record this anymore. But I just simply ran out of things to do. We've done pretty much everything except for the last few sets of the Ore Coliseum. And if I get really, honestly, if I get that big of a push for it, I will come back and finish it. But as of right now, this is going to be the end of Pokemon XD. Alright, well, we've got this awesome, I'm going to say everything with an accent now. got this awesome stadium-like thing at the top of this volcano, and there's the area leader waiting for us. Very good of you to come. I'm Batless, the master of Mount Battle. That's just an awesome name for a final battle. Let me test your abilities in the Mount Battle Coliseum. Who will win, you or I? I'm gonna say I. The first couple of times I tried this, actually, I ended up losing. So, yeah, those were practice runs. So I'm hoping that the real deal now, I'm not going to lose. We'll see. All right, let's do this. Finale time. He's going to start off with Latios and Dusclops. Dusclops is a pure Ghost-type Pokemon, has the Pressure ability. We've got Latios, the Psychic and Dragon-type legendary Pokemon from Hoenn. It does have the Levitate ability, so don't try to damage it with Earthquakes. So let's see here. The main strategy that's going to be used is Dusclops is going to use Imprison, and this Dusclops has Protect and Ice Beam. And because Batless has 3 Dragon-type Pokemon, not being able to use Ice Beam is a problem. Latios is going to be the fastest one on the field here. It's going to open up with a Thunderbolt on Vaporeon, and it takes away half of his HP, which is bad news. And I'm paralyzed. I need Vaporeon to be able to pull off Ice Beams to take out a majority of his team, but doesn't look as though I'm going to be able to pull that off. Will-O-Wisp on Dusclops is going to get him burned because I don't want to waste time attacking the Dusclops. I'll let the burn condition take its toll. We were able to get an Ice Beam off this turn before Dusclops could pull off the Imprison, so we took away about half of Latios' HP. Meanwhile, the Imprison is going to Seal, Protect, and Ice Beam. So that's a problem. Alright, so let's see here. Vaporeon's going to die if I leave him out here, so let's see. He's going to use Thunderbolt, so we should switch into Flygon to try to absorb that and waste Latios' turn altogether. And if that's the case, I might be able to get him into the red zone or close to it with a Flamethrower. It's not going to be very effective because he's Dragon, but it's some damage, and some damage counts. He does go for the Thunderbolt there, so that attack is nulled. And we're going to get the Flamethrower off, and it does indeed get him into the red zone. So if we can do that again, we should be okay. Shadow Ball from Dusclops, that's his other move that I was forgetting about. So you also can't use Shadow Ball on him, which kind of sucks. So yeah, doesn't do a lot of damage to Ninetales. Maybe about 30, if that. And I'm going to predict an Ice Beam coming up, so I'm going to switch into Aggron to save Flygon, because, again, we're going to need Flygon with the Dragon-type Pokemon coming up, and actually we have a Steel-type that is very difficult to knock out if you don't have a Ground-type Pokemon. So, we're going to save Flygon, and Latios does, in fact, go for the Ice Beam, so I was correct again, and Aggron is able to absorb the Ice Beam without too much trouble there. Alright, so that means Ninetales is free to use Flamethrower again, and we're able to knock out the Latios with a second not very effective Flamethrower, and that's very important because Latios is dangerous with its wide array of attacks and super high special attack stat. Slaking is going to be the replacement Pokemon. Remember, with his Truant ability, it can only attack every other turn. But it's going to make it well worth it because he's going to use the likes of Shadow Ball, Earthquake, and Hyper Beam. And you're not going to be able to stand up to it, I'll tell you that right now. This thing's attack is ridiculous. It's almost unfair, honestly. So what I'm going to try to do is outspeed it with Ninetales and go for a Will-O-Wisp to burn it and lower its attack and maybe survive an attack or two and give me some more time to be able to do some damage to it and whittle it down. Dusclops is going to go for a Protect, which means that an Earthquake is coming, I'm assuming. That would make the most sense considering Ninetales and Aggron are both weak to it. But I am able to outspeed it there, and the Will-O-Wisp connects, so that Earthquake is going to be significantly hindered. He does pull off the Earthquake here, and Aggron survives it with 27 HP, and Ninetales survives with 50 HP, and now he can't attack the next turn, so we've got this, crap, Rock Tomb missed. That's not what I needed to happen. Really wanted to lower his speed there and get some decent damage on him, but that's just not going to happen. So I'm going to double team him this turn in the hopes that I can either kill him or come really close. Dusclops is going to go for Protect again, but it fails because he's stupid. Honestly, I would just leave the Dusclops either poisoned or burned and just let him sit there. If he's burned, I mean, that's even better because Shadow Ball is going to do less damage. So that's my best suggestion for dealing with Dusclops. Let him end up just wasting away. So we get the Flamethrower and the Rock Tomb off. It lowers his speed. So we should be able to finish him off before he gets an attack next turn. So no more Earthquakes. Alright, so we should actually be able to... Dusclops is going to go for a Protect again. He's just spamming that Protect. I don't know why. But Ninetales going to go for Flamethrower. And Slaking goes down. So we haven't had any Pokemon knocked out yet. We've got Latios and Slaking off the field. And Dusclops burned with almost no HP left. The replacement Pokemon is going to be Salamence. The Dragon and Flying type Pokemon. It has the Intimidate ability. And this thing is strong. Very, very, very strong. And it's fast. But we're going to get a Rock Tomb off before it gets a chance to even use any of its moves. So its speed is already lowered. That's great news for us. And I'll try to go for another Rock Tomb. See what happens. And Will-O-Wisp misses this time, so that part sucks. And Salamence goes for a Fire Blast on Aggron, which misses. And we're able to get another Rock Tomb off. Which means Salamence is down almost into the red zone with -2 speed. And Dusclops going to go for a Shadow Ball on Ninetales. And because of that burn condition, it just keeps Ninetales alive with 23 HP. Dusclops is down into the red zone. And he should die in another turn or two from burn damage. Oh my goodness. This is intense. It's coming down to the wire here. Flamethrower. And we're able to outspeed the Salamence because of those speed drops from Rock Tomb. And we're able to knock out yet another Dragon-type Pokemon with a not very effective Flamethrower. After defeating Salamence, Ninetales grows up to level 67. And the replacement Pokemon is going to be yet another dragon. The other twin dragon from Hoenn. Latias, the Dragon and Psychic-type Pokemon. Dusclops, another Shadow Ball. And finally, Ninetales is going to bite the dust, but Ninetales definitely was the MVP so far with burning Slaking, burning Dusclops, defeating Latios, defeating Slaking, defeating Salamence. Have to say, Ninetales did an awesome job. We'll send out Zaprong next, and Dusclops is going to bite the dust from the burn damage finally, and that's without attacking it at all. It ended up just wasting away to nothing. So we've got Latias out on the field, excuse me. And the replacement Pokemon is going to be Metagross, his last Pokemon, Steel and Psychic type, which makes it only weak to ground and fire. And I believe it has Earthquake, so bringing a fire type Pokemon might be a bad idea, or at least unless you can outspeed it and hit it with a Fire Blast really quick, you might be in a lot of trouble. Waterfall from Latias was able to knock out Aggron, so I'm going to send out my paralyzed and injured Vaporeon. Alright, critical hits with Ice Punch from Electabuzz, and that gets Latias down into the very, very low yellow zone. Earthquake from Metagross. And Vaporeon hangs on with 26 HP. Latias obviously levitates above that, and Zaprong has no chance to tank that. None at all. So this is getting down to the nitty-gritty here. We have Latias down in the low yellow. We've got Vaporeon in the red, and we've got Crobat and Flygon left other than that. I don't think Vaporeon is going to get the chance to attack. But we're going to open with Crobat, who's faster than Latias, and we get a Shadow Ball off, which is super effective, and Latias is going to go down. Which means we just have Metagross left, and that is it. Crobat grows up to level 68. And Metagross is going to go for another Earthquake. Crobat's going to fly above that, but Vaporeon is not. And that's going to finish him off. Vaporeon didn't get a chance to do a lot of attacking in this battle, but that's okay. He served his purpose. Flygon is our last Pokemon, but it's 2-on-1, and we have the advantage because we have both of Metagross's weaknesses, and one of them just happens to be a stab move. We're going to open up with a Shadow Ball from Crobat that inflicts neutral damage, but because of Metagross's sheer amazing defensive abilities, it does virtually nothing. And we're going to go for an Earthquake from Flygon. Crobat's going to fly above that, super effective on Metagross, and it brings him down to just like 10 HP left. It goes for a Meteor Mash on Flygon, which misses. And this battle is pretty much in the bag here. Crobat is going to outspeed Metagross again and go for a Shadow Ball, and that's going to finish him off. And that is going to be the end of this battle, and that's going to be the end of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. We did it. My goodness. Magnificent. Could not have said it better myself. Magnificent. Yes, truly magnificent. You, being so young, may not understand how I can be so happy about losing. Well, I'm delighted, even ecstatic, that someone so young as you could defeat me. Congratulations. Here are your Poke Coupons for clearing Area 10. It's going to be 2,000 Poke Coupons. And the one other thing that you can get here, if you use the exact same team, no substitutions, from Zone 1 to Zone 100, you get to choose one of the Johto starters, Chikorita, Totodile, or Cyndaquil, to add to your team. And it will be at level 5, and it comes with the Elemental Hyper Beam. So, Frenzy Plant, Hydro Cannon, and Blast Burn, depending on which starter you choose. You can do it as many times as you want. Well, obviously you can only get each starter Pokemon once, but you can get all 3 of them that way by defeating it 3 times. I did not do that. I had some replacements, obviously adding Electabuzz half the way through and all that stuff, so I didn't get a starter Pokemon, but you can do that if you wish, and you can trade them off to your Game Boy games and just have fun. But that's going to be the end of this game, guys. I want to thank everybody who stayed with me through all of this and has watched a majority or all of the episodes. You guys are great. I love making videos for you. I love that you guys watch and comment and talk to me, tweet at me, all that good stuff. You guys are awesome, and I look forward to doing more lengthy games like this, and especially Pokemon Coliseum coming up, because that is closely tied to this game, so I figured a lot of you guys would be interested in it if you're interested in this game. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I want to thank everybody for watching, all that good stuff, and that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next game. Game on.